Welcome, everybody, to the Geek Dad Report versus the NFL. I'm Brian West, and tonight I have all my Week 13 selections of the 2018 NFL season. But first, before we get into all the winners and losers for this week, we're going to do a little recap of last week. It's been 2 weeks since I've seen you guys, and in those 2 weeks, the Hawks have been on a glorious run. Glorious. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Last time I saw you guys, I was a little disheveled. The season was looking like it might be coming to a screeching halt. We just lost to the stupid Rams, and I was a little worried about the Packers coming to town. Well, guess what? Like I said, in the last 2 weeks, we ended the Packers season. Stupid Aaron Rodgers. Woohoo! Watching him cry is one of my favorite highlights of 2018. And then we smacked the Kitty Cats, the Panthers, in their home stadium. Also, watching Cam Newton cry was one of my 2018 highlights. I mean, I'm serious. Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton crying in 2 consecutive weeks, back to back. I mean, it was like a Christmas miracle. In November? You know what? Whatever. I don't even care. But that being said, hang on. Stupid. Remind me tomorrow. Updates. Whatever. No, I don't want to update my computer. I'm right in the middle of a hit. I'm on a roll, Apple. Can't have your updates interfering with that. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Sweet, sweet Cam Newton tears. They're almost as good as Aaron Rodgers tears. And for 2 weeks in a row, we ended the playoff hopes of 2 teams. Glorious. I mean, I had never had a doubt, ever. Not one time. Because I'm not a doubter. This is not the face of a doubter. Would a Seahawk doubter, have a Russell Wilson Christmas ornament? Look at this thing. This hangs from my tree. You know why? Because when the tree comes out, the Seahawks do one thing. They win. They're a bunch of Christmas winners. I know what Santa's bringing them for Christmas. Super Bowl championship. Woo, a playoff berth. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But definitely a playoff berth. That's what Santa's bringing us. Look at this. And just to make sure, this beautiful number 3 wearing manly man, Russell Wilson, throwing 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just dropping dimes on the Hello Kitties of Carolina all day long. This guy definitely has a place on my tree. It's like I said, in December, the Seahawks bring Christmas miracles. I know it's not December yet, but it's almost December. I got my tree up. It's right over there. It's full of Seahawk ornaments. It's beautiful. You guys should see it. It's gorgeous. Like my team. Gorgeous in the month of December and the end of November. Anyway, good things are coming for me and my beautiful 12th man, fellow 12th men. I feel it. 6-5. We're in control of our own destiny. So, hey, bring on stupid Richard Sherman, the traitor. Well, he's not really a traitor. We cut him, and that's fine. I usually wouldn't be mad at Richard Sherman. I mean, he did have a great career here in Seattle. But talked a whole lot of shit on his way out the door. What a punk. But, whatever. Not everyone can be as awesome as we are. I don't know where I was going. I think I was going to say not everyone can ride this. Not everyone can ride this awesome train. That's what I was saying. There we go. Anyway, doesn't go on forever, Sherman. You had a good run, but the door it definitely didn't hit you on the way out. On your way to their 2-9 San Francisco 49ers. But we're going to talk more about that later. Right now, we're talking about the glorious Seattle Seahawks. So, we played the Niners twice, Arizona once, and we played the Vikings and the Chiefs. So, for those of you keeping track at home, if we can go 3-0 in those teams and those games against the really crappy Niners and Cardinals, and split with Kansas City and the Vikings, hopefully beat them all, but hopefully beat the Vikings, we are going to the playoffs. Like I said, it's like a beautiful Russell Wilson Christmas miracle. Woo, that's why he's hanging from a tree. Because he's a bad man. Sometimes. Anyway. Alright. That's enough hawk talk. Can't speak tonight. Uno momento, por favor. That's enough hawk talk for this week. I'm sure some of you guys are sick of the Seahawks and wish they'd go away. Well, joke's on you. They're never going away. Woohoo! Sorry, I'm ratcheting up the excitement because last time I was a little down. But not now. Now I'm really, really up. Speaking of up, things that are up, how about my picks? Last week I went 13-2. It's pretty good. It's real good. Unfortunately, my co-host Ryan also went 13-2. I saw he tried to bring in another ringer, his son, and his son did not pick 13-2. Ryan had to pick his own picks because I shamed him into it. I probably should have let his kid pick because his kid didn't do as good as him. But so I didn't pick him any ground on. Well, I didn't enhance my lead on Ryan, which is already at like 152 games ahead of him. But that also means he did not pick up any games from way far behind. So if I just match his picks for the rest of the season, I'm going to beat him. But I'm not going to do that because I want to beat him by 700 games, not just 132. I don't know. I think I'm like 10 games ahead of him at this point. So technically, theoretically, he could catch me. But the hot streak that I'm on isn't going to end anytime soon. So pretty sure I'm going to be holding the championship belt at the end of this season. Sorry, Ryan. It's true. Our side bet, though, is another matter altogether. We, for those of you who are new to this episode or new to the show, and this is your first episode, me and my co-host Ryan, who we alternate every single week, he's a big Steelers fan. I'm obviously a Hawks fan, if you have not guessed it. We made a side bet that said whoever's team had the best record, the loser would have to do our final Super Bowl show wearing just a hat. So it wasn't actually just a hat. It was pretty much shirtless. I've vowed that if I'm going to go shirtless, I'm just going to go naked. But I will wear a hat because my head gets cold. But right now, the Seattle Seahawks are 6-5. His Steelers are 7-3-1. That Cleveland tie should count as 2 losses, in my opinion. But he is ahead of me in that ranking. But the Hawks are catching up. We're only a game and a half behind, so we'll see what happens. But right now, Ryan is currently in the lead in the Shirtless Bowl 2018. So we'll see. I know you guys all want to see me with no shirt on anyway. And if you do, you're in luck. Been doing like push-ups. I did 7 yesterday. 7. Anyway, all right. Moving on to our main course for the evening, what most of you probably tuned in for. Man, I cannot speak tonight. It's because I'm really excited about, 6-5 doesn't seem great, but considering how poorly we started at the beginning of the season, I'm very happy now. It looks like we're clicking. And it's Christmas. Russell Wilson ornaments. Or you could have like really cool earrings. Look at that. How cool would that be? It'd be pretty awesome. Anyway, all right. So, small disclaimer. I'm going to give you guys picks. I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win this week. And even though I'm just crushing it, went 13-2. That's like the second time this season I've gone 13-2. I'm not a professional. I barely do any research. And I kind of just guess based on nothing. So if you want to go out and bet your home or your savings or everything you own on my picks, if that's what you want to do, do it. It's free country. Just make sure you send me 10%. And if you lose it all, don't come after me. I already said I don't know what I'm talking about. You bet with me at your own peril. Anyway, whatever. Here we go. All right, so first game we have, the Thursday night football game, is the New Orleans Saints. The NFL best New Orleans Saints is heading to Dallas to play the suddenly relevant Cowboys. I mocked them a lot. I mocked them for the Amani Toomer trade. I mocked them because I hate the Cowboys, and I got to eat a little crow. They're actually playing pretty good. I say Amani Toomer. Jeez, that's an old name. Amari Cooper. Anyway, Cooper has actually been turned out to be a pretty good receiver in Dallas, and the Cowboys are playing pretty good. That being said, the Saints are out of this world incredible. I do not know if they're going to lose again the rest of the season. They are playing absolute lights-out football and are really, really, really good. So even though I think the Cowboys are playing a lot better, I do not think that they can beat the Saints. Even at home. So I'm going to go with the Saints in this one. All right, Sunday games. Now, we don't have any buys this week, so I've actually got 16 games to pick, so we'll try to knock these out real quick. Let's see what we got here. So no more buys. I guess that matters if you play fantasy football, which I took a year off, which I'm really glad I did, even though there's like 1 million points being scored. All right, so the Baltimore Ravens are heading to Atlanta. Atlanta is 4-7. They are just about out of the playoffs. I don't think they've been mathematically eliminated yet. I think if they lose this game, they will be. Ravens are 6-5. They're actually kind of holding the season together. Flacco, no word on if he's going to play this week. Here's the thing. I think Baltimore's really good this time of year at home. I think they struggle on the road, and their rookie quarterback is all right, I guess. And if Flacco doesn't play, I don't know. Even though Atlanta's been really bad and they're struggling mightily, I do think they're going to manage to put together a decent game at home, keep themselves mathematically alive for the playoffs. So I'm going to pick Atlanta in this one. Let's see. Carolina, who we made fun of incessantly because Seattle kicked their butts. I mean, they didn't kick their butts, but they beat them at home. So, hey, that's a win in my book. Literally and figuratively. Panthers are heading to Tampa Bay to play, I guess, Jameis Winston. I think he's a quarterback again. I'm not sure. The Russian roulette quarterback wheel of Buccaneers is... I don't know who's going to play. All I know is Tampa's bad. And the Panthers are fiery mad. And even though I know I said earlier that we ended their season, we haven't technically ended it. And if they lose to Tampa, their season will be done. So I'm going to say that the Panthers are going to stop their 3-game losing streak in Tampa Bay. I'm going to take the Panthers on this one. Chicago, the division-leading Chicago Bears. God, when did that happen? Are heading to New York to play these suddenly decent Giants. You know what? The Giants, don't let them fool you. Eli Manning is still no good. Saquon Barkley is just an out-of-this-world running back is why they're staying in these games. I do think the Giants are trying to tank for the number 1 draft pick, so I'm going to say the Bears are gonna handle them. Because I don't even know who's going to start for quarterback for the Bears. I don't know if Trubisky's back. I don't know if Chase Daniels is going to go out there. I don't think it matters because Khalil Mack is single-handedly wrecking teams by himself. Which I guess what single-handedly means. But so as long as Khalil Mack plays, I'm going to say the Bears are going to win. The Bears are going to beat the Giants. All right, next up, the Bills. Big winners this last week. I can't get a handle on the Bills. One week they score 3 points and look awful, and the next week they score 40 and they look great. They're heading to Miami, yet another team I can't get a handle on. One week they score 30 and look good, and one week they score 3 and look awful. I'm just going to go with the home team in this one and say that Miami's going to win. I don't know why. Probably won't. But I'm just going to say they're going to win anyway. So I'm going to go with Miami. Other than that, I have no information. Both these teams I don't care about and don't follow. Let's see. Next up, the Colts going to play the toothless Jacksonville Jaguars. So I don't know what happened to Jacksonville. They were really good, and now they're really, really bad. The Colts were really, really bad, and now they're really, really good. Andrew Luck is just throwing dime passes all day long, and he clearly looks back. He hasn't been sacked in like 5 weeks. And the Colts have been on a roll. I mean, they are playing good, solid football right now. They're in a division that's not good, and they're in a conference that has a couple of good teams, but just is still ripe for the taking. So I'm going to say the Colts are going to continue their hot streak, and they're going to completely knock out a toothless Jacksonville Jaguars team. All right, the suddenly competitive Cleveland Browns. I didn't pick them last week. I should have. That's one of my 2 losses. Is going to Houston, who's like 8-3. I don't know who to pick here. I always pick Houston, and they win a lot, so I should probably take them. They're home. But I just don't even know if they're any good. And Cleveland's actually been playing really good, and they're good on the road team. But Houston's kind of... I'm going to go with Houston. They're a home team. Even though Cleveland's been playing lights out, I still think Houston has the better team, probably. And they're playing at home, so Houston. Go with the home favorite. I don't know. You tell me who would you take. I guess Cleveland's probably the hot take right now. Cleveland's playing good, but Texans at 8-3. They haven't played any. You know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm going. I got to bring in a ringer. Holly.
What?
Who should I take? The Cleveland Browns or the Houston Texans at home? All right, she said Texans, so I'll stick with my original pick. I'm going to go with the Texans. If they lose, it's your fault. I'm just saying that. It won't be her fault. It'll be my fault. All right, so I'm taking the Texans. There we go. All right. See, Ryan, you're not the only one who can call on a lefty. My wife's not a lefty. All right, Broncos playing the Bengals. All right, I am done picking the Bengals. The Bengals are hot garbage. Carson Palmer. The Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. He's on IR. They have no quarterback. Their team's in disarray. And the Broncos are playing really good right now. Casey Keenum looks like he might have been the best free agent quarterback signing because you're getting a decent quarterback at half the cost of all the other quarterbacks. And they got a really tough defense. So I'm going to say the Broncos are going to knock out the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals are already pretty much knocked out, but they're going to go into Cincy and handle their business. The Los Angeles Rams are going to Detroit to play the Lions. I mean, I think the Lions are going to try and play, but I think the Rams are just going to slap them around. Of course, neither team really has a defense, so that could be a very high-powered, high-scoring game. That might actually be worth watching. But I'm going to say the Rams will take care of business in Detroit. Arizona is going to Green Bay. Green Bay is a disaster. Mike McCarthy is getting fired. Aaron Rodgers looks like he's having no fun anymore. They have a good running game, and Rodgers still can sling the ball around, and their defense is not bad. But I think Seattle just... Hey, when you go up against this guy right here, when you go up against this beautiful man, Russell Wilson, and he just devastates your season, I mean, it's hard to recover. That's why they lost this last week against the Vikings. But I'm going to say Green Bay, they still are technically alive for the playoffs. They're not losing to the Cardinals. The Cardinals have won 2 games, and they're just not good, and they definitely don't play good on the road. So I'm going to say that I will say that Green Bay will pull it together for at least one more game, and they're going to beat the Cardinals. Kansas City is heading to Oakland. I feel like every week it's the same thing. The Raiders are terrible. Carr is not going to be on that team anymore. John Gruden is clearly playing for the future. He could care less about this season. And Kansas City is amazing. Patrick Mahomes has thrown 756 touchdowns this year, and he's probably going to get at least another 20 more on Oakland. So Kansas City all day. Jets held New England to a pretty tight game, and they are heading to Tennessee, who did not do anything against Houston, even though Mariota had like 300 yards passing. The Jets, they're one of these stupid like 6-win teams that keep it close sometimes, and every time you pick them, they screw you, and every time you don't pick them, they screw you. But I think Tennessee at home is still a pretty tough team, and Tennessee's still alive in the playoffs in their division, so I'm going to say Tennessee is going to beat the Jets. Next up, game of the month, the day, the week. Not even the year, but the return of Richard Sherman to CenturyLink Field to get beaten like a redheaded stepchild by the Seattle Seahawks. Yep, the San Francisco 49ers are coming to Seattle to get their little bottoms whooped by Big Daddy Wilson. This guy. And the 12th man and the Seattle Seahawks. I don't need to say anything else about this except for the Niners have won 2 games, and I don't care if they are a division rival. They're playing their like 7th back. I don't know. Matt Collins is his name. Matt Collins. They're playing a quarterback who I think was bagging groceries at Fred Meyer last week. Kroger for those of you on the East Coast, and he's not good. He's terrible. The Niners aren't good. They've lost a lot of players to injury, and their season is gone down in flames. The only highlight of this game will be the fact that it'll be Richard Sherman's return. And I, for one, hope that if we get up by a lot, we just start dropping dime passes. I hope Russell Wilson throws 2 or 3 touchdowns on Richard Sherman, because as much as I love what he did in Seattle, and I can't wait to put his name in the Ring of Honor at one point. On the way out the door, he trashed literally everybody, talked a lot of shit. And so for this game, especially, I hope that Russell Wilson has 300 yards passing, all on Richard Sherman. Just saying. Seahawks all day in this one. Hopefully by a lot. All right, last couple of games we got. The Vikings are heading to New England. This is probably the best game. Well, this is definitely one of the best games of the day. New England is not really inspiring confidence in anybody, but I do think the Vikings are, Foxborough is just a tough place to play, especially in November. I know the Vikings are used to playing outside, but I just don't think it matters. Tom Brady, I think their star is fading, but I still think Bill Belichick at home in November is just really tough to beat. So I'm going to say the Patriots are going to squeak one out in a close one. They're going to beat the Vikings. Next up, the Chargers are heading to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. The Steelers are coming off a loss. Who could have predicted it? I'll tell you, this guy. Now, the Chargers are probably going to lose this game, but because I know it pains my co-host Ryan because he's a diehard Steelers fan, I'm going to say that somehow the Chargers are going to pull this one off. If the Chargers want to maintain, God, what are they, 2 games behind? I think they're only a game behind. I think the Chargers can still win their division. So this is a must-win for them if they want the division against Kansas City. And I think the Chargers, this is going to be kind of a prove-it game for the Chargers to show everybody that they're a legit team. They deserve to be one of the top 1 or 2 teams in the AFC. And I think even though the Steelers are going to be real mad about that loss last week, they haven't played well. They didn't play last week. They didn't play well the week before in Jacksonville. And I definitely think there's a little bit of the shine coming off this shiny run the Steelers have been on. So I think the Chargers, back-to-back weeks losses for the Steelers. I think the Chargers are going to go into Pittsburgh and handle their business. Do I really think that? Yeah, I'm about 50-50. But If I'm 50-50, I'm taking the Chargers. I don't care. Because I hate the stupid Steelers. And yes, it's because of that dumb Super Bowl that they stole. Which is horseshit. All right. And lastly, we got the Washington Native Americans heading to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. I don't care about this game. This division is garbage. The Cowboys are going to win the division. The Eagles are one of the worst Super Bowl hangovers I've seen in a long time. And Washington lost their quarterback. And Colt McCoy is not winning any games. I just think the Eagles are still talented enough. They should be able to handle this at home. And honestly, if the Eagles lose this, they're pretty much done. So I'm going to say the Eagles are going to handle their business at home against the Washington Native Americans. And that is all my picks for the week. Before I get out of here real quick, Ryan gave us his picks. So here you go. Here's my illustrious co-host picks. He has, let's see what we got here. He's got New Orleans against Dallas. He's got Baltimore beating Atlanta. He's got Denver beating Cincinnati, the Rams beating Detroit, Green Bay beating Arizona, Buffalo beating Miami, Chicago beating the Giants, Carolina beating Tampa, Indy beating Jacksonville, Houston beating Cleveland, the Jets beating Tennessee, Kansas City beating Oakland, New England over Minnesota, Seattle taking it to the Niners. Good pick, Ryan. I almost feel bad about the Pittsburgh pick now. Pittsburgh beating the Chargers, no surprise there. And Philadelphia beating the Washington Native Americans. So we have enough different picks that hopefully one of us will start separating ourselves, and we'll see what's what. Next week, Ryan will be with you, so I won't get to brag about how great my picks were for at least 2 more weeks. Until then, you guys, thanks for watching. Tune in every week. We also have a regular show on Thursdays, a Geek Dad Report. You should definitely watch that as well. And hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere you can find us, the Geek Dad Report. And give us your picks in the comments below and let us know what you guys think about the video. And if you like it, share it with your friends. Tell them how great we are and how much you love us. And until next week, everybody, go Hawks. See ya.